Going further from there, the next thing or the important topic is about prospects. It is indeed about going forward and understanding the psyche of your prospects, yourself even understanding that what we mean through by a prospect. So just to revise through till this point of time, we have seen through mechanisms about what lead generation is and followed by a few of the famous tactics for it. The next thing about prospects is going to help us deliver through the right message to the right audience at the right point of time to get the right set of lead, which will then turn into the right set of sale. So the first and foremost important point when we are talking about a prospect is about having a clear definition of your target audience or your target group. So you should be yourself absolutely clear and having the right sense about knowing that who is the end user of your product or service and what are the details of that. So here is an example sheet which I have shown in the slider that you should be providing a detailed explanation or description of each of your target audiences and building a persona or a profile to better understand your customer. And the major elements where it will be falling through is it would be the consideration of their age, it would be the consideration of their gender, their demographics, their location, their preferences in the form of what they prefer, what they do not, how they like to get communicated, how they do not, their needs, and accordingly even understanding their expectations and their goals. So this is the kind of study which you need to do through in relation with your audiences, and accordingly then you can pitch across or you can go ahead and share your product with them through the method or channel that they are very likely to engage across with you. So to give this through or get you through with some better comfort in relation with it, let me go forward and share an example about the same. So let's say that you are looking forward at getting leads and ideally getting sales for a new car which your company has launched. It is a compact set of vehicle, a compact luxury vehicle which is in the price range of near around 10 to 15 lakh rupees, and you are required to generate leads and finally sales for the same. Now, as soon as you have known about your product or service, you should be first deciding through or having an idea about what would be the major set of your target audience and how you could be reaching them. So in relation with this, I would be going forward and defining through that my target audience in this scenario. This is something which you will be knowing through definitely from your previous sales data. You could be knowing through market research and the set of reality about a product or service seen in the market. So from that, the major scenario which generally would be in case of a luxury vehicle is that your target audience age would be majorly in the range of 25 to 45 years. Your target audience gender is that it would be mostly preferred by male. So definitely that would be your major target audience. The location of your target audience would be majorly metro cities, that is cities which is having higher population and also having accordingly good amount of people who would like to spend on these kind of products. Then comes the part about preferences of your target audience, means if there is any male in the range of 25 to 45 looking out to buy a new car, then what would be the set of methods through which they would be readily available for you to communicate, or where they can meet across you or you can connect across with them. So here is where the important point of describing the persona of your end user would be going in more detail. Means to get you through with this in a better manner, here is the next slide which helps you understand that how you can meet or go ahead with connecting your target audience. So instead of preferences, the major set of element which we are looking forward at is about going forward and defining how I can reach them. Like, let's say if there is a 25-year-old guy who is looking forward to buy a new car, then this particular guy owns a smartphone, he is socializing, so he's connecting across on social media and even socializes offline. He's someone who is an avid gamer, so he could be found through playing games on his smartphone, and someone who is connected through on Facebook and other medium like Twitter, etc. Against this, there is also another prospect of yours who is 40 years of age. So that's a bit mature age of a person. He indeed owns a smartphone, but he is not very much active on internet. He does use internet but has limited access to it, isn't a very frequent user of the same, but being a professional, he uses LinkedIn as one of the methods for communicating with his business prospects, and also has some limited access, or not frequently but casually uses email as well. So here there are two preferences which are created differently basis the persona of your target audience. In the first scenario of there is the persona of a young guy in front of you. In the second scenario, there is a different persona of someone else who is knowledgeable, who is using internet but reaching through a bit of the different medium. So here you will need to decide the preference through which the person would like to communicate with you. Like the 25-year-old guy would like to download your mobile app of your particular brand. He would like to go ahead and see your page on Facebook. You can even connect with him through a Facebook ad. But against that, for the 40-year-old person, you will need to go ahead and try to connect with him by telling him to be a part of your LinkedIn page, or showing him ads through LinkedIn, or collecting his email address and then going ahead and doing your nurturing or turning him into a prospect through set of different emails. So this way you need to define the preferences of your audience. Then going further, you need to define what is their need or expectation from the product which you are selling. Like, are they looking for cars which should be having higher mileage? Are they looking for cars which should be having kind of hatchback seats? Are they looking for cars which should be having good amount of storage space in the back end, so as they could be carrying luggage and other stuff frequently? Are they looking for cars which should be powered by alternate fuel like CNG, as well as even an electric motor for some kind of secondary fuel in case of not working through diesel or petrol? And going further, are they even looking for more set of mechanisms, like probably some kind of accident benefit or some kind of usage through which there would be no chances or very low chances of accident happening? So this kind of stuff about the expectation of the user and whether your product matches them, or is the product having those expectations being matched, is something which you will be checking out. And if this is done through perfectly, and if you have defined this needs and the expectations, you can then go ahead and communicate with your client through emails, through the channel which they would like, through maybe even a call or other mechanisms, and through a continuous nurturing cycle, but while keeping in mind that your nurture cycle, your communication is in the range of what you have defined. What is the target regarding that person which you have defined? You communicate basis the same. So that's the first element about defining your target or defining across your end audience preference, and accordingly using then different channels which are there in digital media, right from search to mobile to display, to reach across to them, and then connecting them by taking their feedback, support, and trying to build a relationship rather than just a one-time sale. So that's the mechanism, very first important element under prospect for defining your target audience. We are now going to focus on the second point about prospects, which is related to creating content. We have already understood that why content is an important element in lead generation and why you cannot leave the mechanism of content creation anyhow. But in relation with the same, once we have defined the audience or learned the mechanism about how we define our target audience in our previous video, the next thing coming in line is to go ahead and create content in line with what your brand is, what your audience is, and at what time are you connecting across with your audience, and then respectively create the content which will engage your audience. Now, to give you an example of this in a better manner, we have just seen the persona of how your target audience could be varying, in which we have seen that there is one of your target audiences who is in the age range of 25, who uses a smartphone and would like various features in your car, like having good mileage or having hatchback seats, etc. Now, this particular person would also be probably interested in having a feature about your car with the features which would be related to the look of the car, means it should be having a very frenzy look or a very young look, as well as he would be interested in probably features related to the entertainment system in the car, which could be about the audio system, which could be about the kind of speakers and music he or she could hear across, and related stuff. So herein, if this is one of the requirements and you have known your target customer, if there is something related to this particular need of the customer which your car is fulfilling, then you should be going ahead and communicating that by creating content around the same. To give you a live example of it, here is a particular article wherein there is an infotainment system being created in a car, and that particular entertainment system has won across an award for that company in the car manufacturing arena. So they are going ahead and sharing the same through a particular release, through a particular article update. Now, this same data of a company winning across an award could be even shared across to your target audience by a blog post. It could be shared through with the help of an update on an app, as well as just on an update on your web page, as well as through an email newsletter. So herein, my main focus is that first you should be knowing what your brand is, you should be knowing what your audience is, and when the audience is in the right place to turn into a lead into a prospective customer in the form of a sale, then you should be going ahead and creating content around that, or sharing any content which can lead them to turn into a particular target audience which will fulfill the feature. Now, just to take one more example related to it, let's say that against that, the other persona of your audience, which is about the 40-year-old employee who is also looking for getting through a car, but his main concern is more around the accidental benefit of the car and how safe and how good it is. So if you have released a new feature about maybe a airbag solution in the car, or an accidental feature which allows automatically stopping the car if it guesses something incorrect with itself, then in that scenario, this particular set of mechanism is something which you can share across with that person through a email newsletter or through a LinkedIn post, and then asking him to access the same. So here my main pointer is that whenever you are creating your content, keep the persona of the person in mind, keep the persona of your target audience in mind, and accordingly work across on the content. And once you have done that, the next mechanism, once the content is creating, is to go ahead and publish it across, and publish it in various channels, specifically the social channels through Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. Plus other channels which could be public releases through newspaper articles or press releases specifically, so as you are reaching out your audience through an authenticated and accredited method of a newspaper. So press release is really a nice mechanism for making sure your articles are published across at a nice set of creditable platform, as well as there should be releases across article sites, across forums and other set of avenues where people could read your real set of content, because these kind of other avenues together with social like press release, article sites as well as forums etc. will be helping through in even getting more engagement with your content, and secondly it is a good practice for SEO as well. So because SEO prefers through about your data being published at other locations, and from that locations if people are coming back to your website, it is an additional add-on benefit for getting better rankings through SEO. So it's an important element for publishing across all. To just show you an example of the same, if I would be going forward and looking through for publishing my data through articles, I can do that by various article sites. Like one of the famous article sites is named through as eZine articles, where you can publish across your product articles on their set of website, and there are many set of users who would be reading through the same. Similarly, you could be even finding websites which are publishing press release by searching across for press release submission, or maybe you can search across for press release sites, and you will be able to find a list of all of them where you can go ahead and submit your content so as it's visible on social, plus apart from social, other channels where you will be able to find through the same. So that's the mechanism of how you do through the element of building your prospect through the mechanism of social channels. Past that, the next element in relation with it is about having through a good and nice set of landing page, or creating great set of landing pages which will turn your prospect into a lead, or someone who is still in the thinking process into a highly prospective lead itself. So here is one of the nice example of a landing page. To give you an idea of what a landing page is, in digital marketing language, the very first page where the user comes onto past clicking on your link means, let's say I see an ad of yours on Twitter and I click on the link which is shown out there, or I see your ad on a search engine like Google and I click on the link which is shown, or maybe I see a Facebook post and click on your website link. So that very first page where the user comes through is indeed known as a landing page in digital marketing, and that's the first interaction of the end user with your product or service. And for turning him into an engaging prospect, you should make sure that this page is having all the necessary elements which will convince the user to share his or her information. Like you can see through this wonderful page, which has so much credibility and so much interesting stuff shown across onto it. Like there is the first element of giving you something for free. So if you are giving some data, they are sharing across with you a free report. There is the second element about the credibility about them, which has been written through on various sites, means their website is being shown to be creditable on different websites, on different set of ideally newspaper and really reputed sites itself. Thirdly, they have even given through the mechanism of who all or how their product will help you do through better business on the major set of online entities like Google, Yahoo, Facebook, etc. Past that, they are also adding the element of the trust people are having with them. So you can see that the number of times since when they are in the industry, that is over 12 years, and also the number of people who have used their products, means they are saying they are having over 3,000 businesses who are worldwide using the product. Together with that, they are also using the element of inputting through their phone number, so as if you are still not convinced or are having any doubt, you can call them and they will help you through with that. And past that, they are even sharing across any awards which they have won through, which will give you more credibility about their product. So this is a landing page which is having all the important elements. It's creating a good set of credibility with it. It is giving you some free set of information. It is also telling you about how you can connect them through phone. And finally, it is in an overall scenario very visually appealing with nice set of fonts and images being used, and a nice set of person also encouraging the product. And if these elements are incorporated, it is very highly possible that your prospect will convert. Just think through in relation with the same element, if maybe they would have not included the part about the different set of websites at the bottom, or which are wherein their product has been written, the newspaper sites which have written through about them, or maybe if they would have not written about the element that from which how many years they are doing business, if they would have not incorporated this on the landing page, the chances of the prospect converting into a client would have decreased. So it's very important for you that you are indeed even using this element of having the prospect as a part of your landing page, making sure that your landing page is having all these appealing mechanisms as a part of it, so as the user converts, and then you can turn him accordingly into a great sale. So that's the next important element about landing pages. And past that, the further set of element, ideally an element which we have talked about in our previous set of videos a bit, is once again, just to emphasize on it once more, is using across SEO and lead generation. Because to give you through the fact that people who are using search engine, they are seeing a rise of at least 20 to 30% in the number of people coming to their site. And through SEO, your website can get listed at the top position if you work across onto it in a continuous basis. And finally, if to share with you some actual stats, there are 80% of people who click on the top 5 links on a search engine page. So the higher your listing is through the mechanism of search engine, the better it is. and from your listings people would be clicking across onto your link, and finally they would be landing across on your website, which will turn through into better set of lead generation. So that's the mechanism of the various elements which you should be keeping in mind from where you can get prospects. And to sum it up across all of these elements together, here are the various places where you could be promoting your offers for lead generation. So what I have done through in this particular scenario is that breaking it down into 3 elements. First one being the early stage of lead generation when you are just starting by. Second one being the mid stage or the middle stage of lead generation, that wherein you could provide the data for it. And finally the later stage where you could be using through. So this set of data which I have shown in 3 stages is additional to the previous methods which we have already seen about Twitter, about social media, about SEO, about creation of content, about PR articles. Additional to that, you could be using all of this, right from having a blog on your website up to the mechanism of having or creating an ebook from the topics which you are sharing through. Creating across nice set of funny videos, because some element of fun is indeed really required, and that's why people flock across on YouTube and other channels. Apart from that, for generating leads, you could be creating infographics. You could be creating nice set of data where people would be sharing or knowing from their real-time stats about any particular scenario, like an infographic showing the highest set of price ranges for different set of cars, or maybe the safety elements which are there in different brands of cars. So all this could be really important to the end user, and they could connect through with you through infographics. And then there is even webinars, a great way of reconnecting with your participant and your target audience by bringing them live in front of you, because everyone is really interested in having live interaction together with learning. Like you are doing the self-paced course, you would be even interested to get some live interaction whenever you are having any doubts, or you could be asking through the trainer if it would have been a live training. So webinars are a great way to reconnect with people and getting leads in that manner. Similarly, you could be even creating buying guides for prospective buyers by telling what are the benefits of a product, what would be the price range of different products, at what price you should be buying a product. There could be similarly calculators about what is the benefit you would be getting if you buy a car which is under ABC brand, and what would be the benefit if you buy a car under maybe XYZ brand. So that kind of reporting should be done. And the middle stage, that is when the prospect is quite now getting more interested in buying your product. And finally, there should be also reports showing that how a company is better. Like I showed you a report with how a company had won an award just now. There could be analyst report about how many awards a company is winning continuously, or how their sales are the highest in a region, or how many people are trusting their brand. So that kind of reports should also be done through. And finally, in the later stage, when he's already done through or just at the stage of converting, or even when he has bought your product, you should be going forward or sharing across demos or asking him to be a part of a demo. You should be giving him reviews which others have shared about your product, and even sharing with that person case studies of real-time people whom he could know about and make sure that he turns into a sale. So these are so many different levels where you could connect with your customer again and again and try and give something new each and every time when he or she is going ahead in his mind to have a sale related to your product or service. So these are the various prospects and the stages of it. It is really effort taking experience. It requires good amount of creativity. It requires different set of content and different connecting methods. But if you practice it accordingly step by step, I can guarantee great set of worthy lead and worthy sales generation for your business through your prospects.